The abortion referendum was to take place on the 19th of March 2020, but 1 week before the vote, it was postponed. The government said that the advice to elderly people to stay home could appear to contradict the call to a vote by universal suffrage, and that this could lead the result of the referendum to be called into question. In the government's Unlock the Rock document, published on the 12th of May, it said it would consult the opposition on the appropriate date to reconvene the referendum on abortion at a meeting of Parliament scheduled for the 28th of May. However, Parliament records show no mention of the abortion referendum at that meeting. As the first wave of the coronavirus took hold of the world, many votes and elections were postponed. Since then, however, many have taken place. Most notably, the US presidential election. Regional elections in Catalonia also took place last week. In response to GBC questions following this, the government said it expects the referendum to be held in the first 6 months of this year. The Gibraltar pro-life movement and Gibraltar for Yes were designated as the lead campaigns for either side. Here's what they thought of the news.
It's actually heartbreaking and mind-boggling to the fact that we've had this past year with the pandemic. Everybody in the community has played their part, helping the vulnerable with food and whatever they've needed. And we've seen our Chief Minister himself actually proclaiming the value of life and how it's all about saving lives. And when I hear those comments, I totally, wholeheartedly agree with the Chief Minister. So to me, it's incongruous now that they're going to hold a referendum, which I know he supports personally, to have women legalize their right to kill their own children. It's an abomination. How can a mother actually want the right to kill her own child? Surely, as a community that we have shown how we've supported the elderly and the vulnerable, and we've really gone out of our way.
We're really happy to hear that's the case. The only thing we would draw attention to is that given that referendums require X weeks in advance to be able to get that particular show on the road on referendum day, we would be urging the government to think of a plan B in the face of New Zealand holding a general election last year and the United States holding a general election last year, and looking at different measures, different ways of being able to overcome COVID issues, postal voting in advance, online voting, looking for ways of being able to overcome the obstacles that the pandemic might present should we find ourselves back in the same position as we were back in March of last year.
The referendum was postponed as the situation with COVID-19 accelerated. But with the rock now beginning to unlock once again, a return to the polls seems set to form part of Gibraltar's return to normality.